This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
This is really interesting. Have you seen this story floating around of Sophie Turner? Sophie Turner, of course, Game of Thrones fame.
Yeah, she was amazing.
She was brilliant in that. And
Winter is coming, guys.
That is right. Has worked on many other things.
Do you want another one? Do you want another one? Just another one quickly?
Joel Turner's sister, isn't it?
No,
the
different.
beatboxer from...
Yeah. You've got your spot on,
What about
Fitzy.
this?
Okay.
You say action.
Standing. Yeah. Okay. Action.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Terry Lannister.
Who is that?
Fitzy never watched it.
I watched it when I was waiting for my baby to arrive. All 4 or 5 series.
It's good,
or
isn't
on the
it?
couch.
So May...
It's good.
So May, in the womb, all May heard was dragons
Some
killing
red
people.
wedding or something.
Oh, my God, the Red Wedding.
I never got to the red wedding, actually. I didn't get to that series.
Get to it now.
Anyway,
It's the Crimson Wedding.
Oh,
I
the
haven't even
Crimson
watched
Wedding.
It. Get it right. You guys.
You know what? I'm going to watch that today.
Red wedding, and then all it made me think of was red rum.
What's Red Rum?
From that other film.
The Shining.
Yeah, great.
Oh, my
Movie
God.
chat.
Murder
Kate, go and watch the Crimson Wedding today.
I'm not going to watch it.
You
I
have
don't think
to.
it gets you up and about stuff like that, really, does it? And I think I need a bit of a cheers squad at the moment.
Well said,
Okay.
well said.
Okay. We're not really talking about Sophie's body of work, which is fantastic. We're talking about the fact that she then went on to marry Joe Jonas from the Jonas Brothers.
That's her finest work.
Massive hits like Something About Being in the Ocean and
Cake by the Ocean.
Cake by the Ocean.
Yeah, big fan. Was that Nick or Joe? I think it was Nick. It was Joe, wasn't it?
Joe.
We're getting bogged down in because this is actually a really I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Sophie Turner has finally come out and been able to speak about that period when the news broke that her and Joe were no longer together.
Okay.
And
Do you
everyone...
want to hear... Things like this should be kept them to themselves.
Well, no,
She's made a statement. He's made a statement.
Stay out of it. She has finally spoken, and I think it's been really important for her to have the opportunity to touch on things, because back then, last year, when the news of the divorce or the separation happened, it did really feel as though the news coverage was being manipulated, maybe to make Sophie Turner look like a bad mum, a bad partner. She was a bit of a partier. I don't remember if you know the stories. So I believe that she's probab's been waiting to be able to say something.
I don't know. I'm staying out of it.
You're allowed to get involved.
Thank you.
But he hasn't made a statement. She's spoken to British Vogue, where all good people give their statements post-divorce.
Great publication.
It's quite an emotional interview, and it details how she felt after the divorce, and the fact that when the story broke, she's working on a television show, not in the United States, Joan.
Okay.
She's on set for another 2 weeks. She's contracted to still be there. Joe Jonas is in America with the kids, and all of the news and all of the press starts unfolding without her being present and without being able to comment anything. She said, those were the worst few days of my life. I remember I was on set. I was contracted to be on set for another 2 weeks. You couldn't leave. So my kids were in the States. This is what I've just said, I guess.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get to them because I had to finish Joan. All these articles started to come out. She has 2 daughters with Joe. She said that the cast that she worked with were her emotional support people in her family. And even some of the directors or the producers on the show, they have come out and said, oh my goodness, it was made out as though Sophie was not rushing to be by her family's side during this period and she was out partying. But we know she was on set 24 hours a day trying to film this thing.
That's hard.
And I think, just to give the story credit, I know you're making fun of this, but it hurt her because everyone wanted to try and break her down and pull her apart and make her look like she was the cause of the marriage breakdown. I think because of legal reasons it can't really be discussed what that was all about. But she actually said, I had to get to a point where, regardless of what people were saying, and I'm sure people get to this point in their lives even if they're not famous and it's not public. You got to keep reminding yourself that I am a good mum, I am a good parent. It doesn't matter what people are saying out there. Just focus on the kids, keep moving forward. And
I know what you're saying. If I was to try and sum it up, Kate, I'd say compartmentalise. Now, one person that could do that better than anybody else was the great Australian by the name of Shane Keith Warne. Now, Warnie, his marriage was falling apart and his kids are upset, the wife's distraught. He's probably got a couple of girls, but still he'd come out and he'd take 9 for... and that was the power of Shane Warne being able to focus on the task at hand.
It's got nothing to do with Sophie
have you
Turner.
turned a story about Sophie Turner finally getting the opportunity to say something about her life rather than having to listen to everybody else comment on it?
Warnie could do it.
That you've turned it into a cricket story?
Shane Keith. So he was able to go, okay, when I'm at home, I'll deal with that. But now I'm out here,
Good
right
chat.
at the
Good
crease,
chat, Whip.
I will do what I have to do now.
I was even loath to bring up the name Taylor Swift because her name is floating around all of this story as well.
Yep.
Very good friends with Sophie Turner, deemed to be some kind of hero during this period of the marriage breakdown. Opened her home, welcomed Sophie in, and that was like her little, warm,
Sanctum.
safe cocoon when Sophie, I think, felt like the world was against her.
I feel tied into this too, Kate. Sort of Sophie, Taylor Swift and Tom and I, because we were at Toddy's in Bondi having a feed, weren't we, Tommy? I think we'd just ordered the burrata and maybe some octopus and a dozen natural, and the next thing you know, Nick Jonas walks in. Was it Nick or Joe?
I'm still not sure.
Kevin.
The Jonas brothers turned up.
A Jonas brother.
And there was Nick and
Once
Joe
again, gets it back to himself.
with another woman. And I was like, Tommy, I don't want to see this. Because we love Sophie Turner, because we love Game of Thrones.
Oh, can I say something else that
And you
Sophie
love
talked
totties.
about?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as the people of Sydney are probably loving you here, hearing you,
Toddy's with Joe Jonas.
yeah, talking about
Toddy's
having a
Bondi
dozen
story.
oysters. Sophie's also said that she always hated the fact that the wives were treated like groupies, not by the boys
Wags.
themselves or their husbands, but they were always the plus ones, and they were even called the wives. So I guess when they were organising functions and things, it's like, okay, what are the boys doing? We got Kevin, Nick and Joe, and what are the wives doing? And for someone like Sophie, or any wife, like, we have a name.
What do you want to
We have
call
a
them?
life of our own. We have a career of our own. Is it okay if you address me by my name, not rather than put me in a
long.
little group?
Too long. Why am I going to name 3 girls when I can just say the wives? See, Warnie... Right?
That's where it starts, though. If you start even giving me an individual name.
The wives.
Does
If I
this,
said, can we get the girls over here and the boys over there, you'd know what to do.
No, I think it's much bigger. I'd like to think your life's big and important and stuff like that, but I think that being called the wives publicly and privately and by all the friends and the record companies and things like
Do you
that
think
would
wags is an insult?
get you a bit down. Yeah, I do.
Well, I would. Would you say that the Jonas Brothers are on your list now? Like, are they off limits
good
now
question.
for a
Off-
lot of
off
women around the
limits.
world?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh,
You angry at them?
But you know what? I mean, call me controversial, but
Say it.
I've got a few things going on in my life that means I don't get to dig deep on the Jonas Brothers every day and how I
controversial.
feel about them. But I have to say, hearing from Sophie Turner, looking forward to British Vogue, has really got me up and about today.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.